weird.
Hello, everybody, and this is another episode of your Potluck podcast. And this is your butthurt disclaimer. Parental and/or sponsor advisory. Our goal is to offer a recovery-based podcast with a twist of humor. The expressions and opinions voiced here are those of the individual speaker and are not of the collective. Our primary purpose is to carry the message and to help others achieve sobriety. We don't feel the need to be original, but we certainly don't want to be extra crispy. Crispy. We're going to introduce ourselves for anyone that may be watching or listening for the first time. I am Sean, and I am an alcoholic.
Hey, hi, Sean. And I am Bree. I am an alcoholic, addict, all of the above.
Hello, Bree. My name is Anthony, and I am a grateful recovering alcoholic.
Hello, Anthony.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing today?
We're doing good.
Cheerio, mate. So, how's y'all's week?
Been good.
Yeah.
Been a good week.
Fair to middling?
Yeah.
Try to spell it.
Middlin. Middleland.
That's what I thought too. Sarah, you can't spell. She keeps giving me Midland. That's not what I mean.
You gotta type it in.
Either.
You probably gotta do a dash and then.
She's not very good at maps either.
Midland.
Yeah, I know it's not.
She has no idea where she's going.
None. Yeah. Yeah. How was your weekend?
Man, it was alright. We switched the schedule up, like right up on top of the TED.
Yeah.
You know, but besides today, because I didn't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
But I felt pretty well rested.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a shock to the system or.
You know.
Like, I don't know what's going on. My days are,
Like being on that schedule Monday through Friday, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it because by Friday, because I can go to a meeting, in that time period, but then I'm rushing to get to work and I feel like I'm leaving shit behind when I do that, and I don't like feeling like that. So I usually just spend all weekend, up here at that safe harbor, but not going to meetings Monday through Friday. By the time I hit to Friday, I'm just like, damn, bro, I need a meeting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it sucks. It does suck, because I would like to be up here a lot more than what I get to be up here. You know what I mean? But it just makes for a busy weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people already know, don't ask me to do anything on the weekends because this is where I am.
Yeah. So I gotta share something. The one that usually would do the training for my department where I'm at was out the first day. So the guy I get introduced to that's going to show me, I do quotation marks in the air if nobody's seen that, show me what to do. He looks over at me, and I don't recall if there was a line of questioning before this or not. I think it was just fairly out of the blue.
Yeah.
He just looks at me and says, I smoke a lot of pot. I was like, okay. And he says, I said, I used to. And he says, the only other thing I do is a lot of acid, a lot of shrooms. And I'm like,
damn.
Look, bro, that is my wheelhouse. That was my first.
Okay.
I tripped on acid my whole freshman year.
Yeah.
I would take the bus to school, go in the front doors, obtain my thing, and go out the back door.
Yeah.
I went to school just to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so night would go on, and I hear him have discussions over with somebody else that worked there. And he's bashing, he's bashing AA. And I was just kind of side-eyeing, listening, trying not to listen, but listening anyway. And then he asked me a little bit later, you got plans this weekend? I was like, no. And then I thought on it, and I was like, well, yeah. I said, kind of lie. I said, got the same plans I have every weekend. I said, we're going to record a podcast. I said, I'll do a podcast. And he's like, oh, yeah, what's the podcast on? I said, recovery. He's like, oh, yeah. He said, you do the AA? I said, I do the programs of recovery.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, well, I just stop. I just stop when I need to stop. And I was like, yeah, I do too. Until I don't.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
my life really unravels before I know it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
I said, programs have changed my life, and I feel like it works for those who earnestly work it. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It was odd because it really threw me back to childhood. And I say that because I found myself really keeping to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really want to shame dude or no way.
To each his own.
But I began to take exception to his take on the program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when I would move around schools, I can remember a few of them schools, I would go, like their first 6 weeks, you couldn't get a word out of me. Like I just wouldn't say nothing. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was best, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I was just trying to adapt to my environment or whatnot, you know what I mean? But there again, I do recall once I adapted to the environment, like the chains come off. Mm-hmm. Like I was off and running. I guess maybe just being mindful of that again. Everything seems to go a lot better when I stay stuck to myself. That being said, I ain't wanted to smoke weed as much as I have. All the recovery, I ain't wanted to smoke weed as much as I had just in the 3 nights I was there. You know what I mean? We don't, there's no screening.
Yeah.
It's almost like the go-ahead, green light.
Yeah.
It's okay, And then I got the disease in my mind telling me how I can.
Yeah. Justifying.
Yes, I can. Go to the doctor, get the card back. You know what I'm saying? You already got blah, blah, blah. What it don't tell me is what happens after that.
Yep.
Because all them other doors that I've shut, that I work on keeping shut,
yeah,
they all start to creep open.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I
had to take. I took Thursday off. I took PTO time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean, to protect that.
Yeah.
The book says we can't shy away from places. You know what I mean, and that includes work.
Yeah.
But that also, that's a spiritual fit situation. You know what I mean. But I was at Pizza Hut not too long ago, and when I walk in, there's already a guy sitting down, and I'm thinking he's just like a customer or whatever. Come to find out he works there. But anyway, I'm waiting for the guy to come to the register so I can pay for the pizza and pick it up. And I'm sitting there for a couple minutes because he's got pizzas rolling out. So I was like, bro, just handle what you got to do. Just you're good. So the guy behind me or beside me over here sitting down, he looks up at me. He's like, hey man, smoke? And I was like, yeah, cigarettes. He's like, you don't smoke weed? No, I don't. Absolutely not. He's like, well, if you need anything, just let me know. I'm like, bro, I don't even know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And at that moment, like, a couple things slipped in. Like, that one, like, my disease. I could get away with it. I could do this just one time. You know what I mean? But then there's also that memory of, like, I used to sell weed. You know what I mean? I used to do exactly what that man is doing right now. Mm-hmm. Whether it be at work, whether it be out in public, whether it be at a store, sitting outside a gas station. It didn't matter. Someone walked up and they didn't know, or hey, you smoke? You need anything? You know what I mean? And just at that moment too, right behind those things, like I started to play the take through. You know what I mean? I'm gonna end up in jail because I know I'm gonna end up getting high and not off weed. I know I'm gonna end up getting drunk, probably driving back to the house. You know what I mean? And I just that clarity to think all the way through and not just listen to that little, you know, the disease, that little devil on your shoulder, like you can do it.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. You can get away with it. You can do it one time. It'll be okay. You know what I mean? And yeah, the being restored to sanity is beautiful. You know what I mean? Because now I can actually think.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to just act. You know what I mean? It's beautiful.
Well, and it is, but it's also, you know, you can't just be like, I didn't know what I was, you know what I mean? It just kind of showed up, and then now we have the ability to think it through now.
Yeah.
So it's a full decision, which it's always been a decision,
Yeah.
but it's totally different now.
Yeah.
Like
Now you
it's
know better.
totally, you can play
Well,
it
you got
any
the
way you
tool
want
belt.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the tools that have been, you know, given to me by the programs,
Yeah.
you know, because
Well, I think a lot of it too is in those moments when I've had time and then had that option, when I sat and thought about it. So one time I'll get away with it, even though I knew you probably won't. But I convinced myself, you know.
Listen.
It'll be one time, so it's cool. Even though really I knew somehow, like, it's, you know, this is a bad idea. But I made the decision anyway. You know, it was like, well, I'm going to do it. There's just, you know what I mean? Or I'll make up these, I'll set these rules, or okay, it won't be this time, and I know where to go for when I do, and I can plan this out, and I'll, you know what I mean? If I was going to relapse, I planned to relapse out. There was no whoops accident, because I ain't going to throw away everything I got for just some piddly little, oh no, we're going all out. That's just the way my brain works. So, and I've always had a backup somewhere. There's something that I can use that I need to do it, you know, and when everything's gone, then it's, you got to fully make that full decision. And I had gone a minute, you know what I mean, and then when I made that decision to go to Walmart and go get what I needed to get, that was the end of all that, you know. So now it's, even looking at where I work, not my new job, you leave, stop the stop sign, directly in front of the stop sign, the liquor store, every day. And I see the cars leave work and go directly in there, and then I see the ones that go this way, you know what I mean? We all leave, but you'll see, and I'm like, that would have been me, you know? Like, not to always get wasted, but I very much enjoyed drinking when I did drink.
Yeah.
But I know that it's so easy to do more when you do that. You know what I mean? Same with smoking weed. I could smoke weed for a minute. Shrooms, you know what I'm saying? Those are all fun. But as you do that, then there's something else that comes along with that. And eventually, that caving up, you might say, I'm only going to smoke weed. And I've done that for so long. And then fall off again.
Yeah, so you know.
Right? And so it's just, it's that constant, you know, where we can try to convince ourselves, well, it might be different. I've done so much better this time in my program, in my whole brain, like maybe this, but we know really, but is it really going to work? Do you really want to take that chance? And then it doesn't work out, and then you're right back to square one. You know, you're not going to even have fun when you do, unless you tell yourself, well, I'm making this one okay. That's the only way you're going to be all right with it, and even then you're not really all right with it.
so it's almost like and we talked about, I brought it up again this morning, when we first come in here, you talk about this like the scale, okay? I come in here and I'm full of all these defects, and as I work the program, as I keep coming back, as I'm working with others, as I'm working on my disease, working on myself, the defects start to, and the assets start to overweigh the defects.
Yep.
So my thinking has changed, okay? My whole outlook and everything, you know, that psychic change is either taking place or beginning to take place. But it's like but I don't know. What's coming to mind is like a two-sided brain. You know what I mean? Like, and then it's the opportunity versus obstacle. My brain starts to see all these obstacles as opportunities, right? That used to be the other way.
Yeah.
Like, say for when I go into work and they ain't screening for nothing, and bro, 2 years ago that would have been a godsend, bro. Like, I ain't got to worry about. I can just come in blazing.
Yep.
How am I? You know what I mean? Like, what? I ain't got to worry about nothing. Straight. But my brain immediately went back to that.
To that registered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I said, what? I come in and smoke. Ain't got to worry about. I can stay employed. Yeah. Huh? All right.
Yeah.
But then it flipped, you know, it's like I was able to look at that. What I seen as opportunity then is the obstacle now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just not seeing the obstacle,
Yeah.
you know, and that is an obstacle.
Yeah.
It's not opportunity. It is an obstacle and an opportunity, because the opportunity is to not look at it like that.
So, in the fat book we was
I
reading.
don't know if that helped anybody else, but it helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in the fat book we were reading earlier in the meeting, there's a page in there, okay, and it's titled "Temptation versus Inspiration." So I think it's what it is. Okay. Now I was reading some of it, you know what I mean, and the removal of temptation, right? So like that to me is temptation, you know what I mean? Because that's what my brain automatically registers it. That's the first thing, and like, you know, I said this the other day in a meeting too. Like, my first thought, I'm not judged off of. I'm only judged off my actions, right? We can think all types of different things, but as long as we don't put action behind these things, they're just thoughts. They're not. There's nothing to them. You know what I mean? When things like that occur, especially at work, you know what I mean? Because it's several times. I mean, I've been telling you for a couple weeks now. There's been at least once a week, or once or twice a week, really. Someone different will approach me like, "Hey, you smoke?" And this is at work. When I got the job where I work now, they told me straight up, like, we do drug tests, but we don't test for marijuana. I'm like, why are you telling me that? I don't need to know what you test for. You know what I mean? And my mind registered like, I can smoke weed. You know what I mean? I can smoke weed because you're not going to test for it. Even if you did drug test me, I'm going to pass it. You know what I mean? Even if I smoked weed, you know? And then I never got drug tested. I still haven't got drug tested. There's a couple people that I know that started after me that got drug tested, and then there's a whole bunch that didn't. So I'm like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? And then it's still like that register, like, you can just, you know what I'm saying, smoke weed, go on break, smoke weed, come back. But I immediately replace the temptation, you know what I mean, with a different thought. And I think that's where the renewal of mind comes in, or that switch, you know what I'm saying, where I don't no longer look at it as like you said, like, you know what I mean, I don't look at it as okay, I can do it and get away with it. Now that's the obstacle. Now I got to figure out how I can keep coming to work and avoid, you know what I'm saying, either avoid these people or just avoid the whole temptation of maybe I could do this, you know what I mean?
Well, it's an accountability thing. So, like, when you know, like, I don't want to lose my job, so I'm just not going to. And then you know you're not, an opportunity is there, which makes it an obstacle because it's one less fear. I used to have, it was out in Kansas, they had a thing, and it was the patch. right? And you wore this patch, and that was your drug test. They'd go and they'd take it off.
Sweat patch. Yeah.
Sweat patch. And so I wore that thing like a badge of honor when I started my new job. They're like, yo, you nope, this is it right here.
Yeah.
Still peeled it off and stuck it in a book on wax paper. You get away with it one time, just take it off. So we did. And it's probably still sitting in that book at my house right now. Because after that, they didn't do them anymore. Because something happened, like that one we had it and I had to get it. Whatever happened, they said they weren't doing them anymore. And I knew if I don't know, I wanted to keep that because that kept me, They kept me straight. And then that very first time I took it off, right after that, they switched over to doing the weekly drug screens. And I'm pretty sure it's because his were always messed with. Mine would stay. There was always something messed up. And we both had to be on it. We both had to do drug screens. And the way they do them here, you call in your color, whatever, they have the same thing, but if you go somewhere, you gotta call and they have to verify your code to go do it.
Yeah.
So like, knowing that there's always some sort of accountability is one thing. When you're totally off accountability 100%, that's that temptation that's now an obstacle because the temptation.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, well, now I don't have to. Go do what you were gonna do.
So I really hope y'all can hear this. Parental and or sponsor advisory.
It's suggested.
There are explicit lyrics, okay? And it's not a song, but there is explicit verbiage and just the message, all right? I don't know if this helps anybody else, but I'm certainly going to attempt to have it help me.
Yeah.
It's actually Shia LaBeouf.
He's awesome.
He's just recently.
Just shut up and listen.
Yeah.
Do you ever pray? How do you pray? You know how to pray? Let's pray right now. Okay, all right, we're gonna try right now. So the first step is you gotta shut the fuck up, right? And then you just gotta listen to your thoughts. Because when you shut up, the first thing that happens is your ego tries to take control of yourself and you start thinking about the past and the future and all this shit and blah, 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 and then you get blah, 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 blah. So it takes about 5 minutes to hear something else, which sounds like something else, which sounds like, for me, loving guidance, which sounds something like John Madden. When you get on that sideline, it's loving and it's like a coach. It's like guidance. So you pick a voice and you get like him, and it's something like that. You shut the fuck up long enough, you're gonna hear your voice. It sounds like that weak little bitch that's always tripping out about this and that and that and this and that, and then you're gonna hear this other voice and he's gonna say something loving with some guidance attached. So shut the fuck up till you hear that. Do you ever pray? How do you pray?
Yeah, okay. So try to shut up for a minute, you know what I'm saying? I find that a problem,
Yeah.
even when trying to pray.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know if I shared this on a podcast yet or not, but sometimes when I pray, I can neither confirm nor deny whether while praying, my mind says squirrel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I just
So
squirrel? Literally squirrel in the middle of a prayer? You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, this is, it's crazy you brought this up. So last night, okay, I'm laying in my bed, and like when I pray, like I don't pray like everyone else does, bro. I just don't. I usually don't ever get on my knees and pray. I don't feel like I have to do that. You know, I probably should. You know what I mean? But you know, there's no right or wrong way to pray. As long as you're talking to God and you have that personal connection, that's whatever it is to you. You know
right.
what I mean? At nighttime when I pray, I'm just laying in bed. So I'm laying in bed, and I usually pray for about a 5-minute stretch, like just really just thanking Him, like thank you for the day, thank you for the the things that you've given me, for the people that are in my life, for my sobriety, and then I go into please guide the people that are around me, guide myself, allow me to do Your will, things like that. You know what I mean? There's like a pause for like, I don't know, probably about 45 seconds. That's 45 seconds is a long time to be paused in the middle of praying. Okay, and it was like I couldn't. It's like I couldn't focus. You know what I'm saying? There was like it's like my brain was just like there's like you just saying like there's just all these different things going on and like I just can't. I wasn't focusing, and then I was like okay, and I kept praying again. You know what I mean? And like there's times where I'll be in the middle of praying and then I'll stop and I don't actually like. You know, amen afterwards. Yeah, and then I just later on I just pick it up where I left off and I just keep talking to him, and then I've done that several times, and it calls for long stints of prayer, which is fine, you know, whatever. But the point I'm getting at is there are times where the meditation, because I believe that's what he's talking about, like the meditation, like the centering yourself before. Or even during, or even after prayer. Like when I pray, a lot of the times I just pray, and I'm not really listening for the answer. I'm not really listening for any type of like feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because there's times where I pray and like I get this feeling like you know I can tell that you know God's with me. You know what I mean? And then there's sometimes where I pray and I'm like I'm just so in the moment. Like okay, I'm praying, and then I'm so busy. I gotta keep doing what I was doing. You know what I mean? But I found, especially when I'm at home, like the way I meditate, I told you already, I'll cut all the lights off, I'll lay in bed in complete darkness, and then I just try and clear my mind. Sometimes it's harder than others, a lot harder than others, especially recently for some reason. I think all this things going on with drug court and this and that and this and that, it's been a little bit more difficult for me to clear my mind and go to sleep at night, but I do that first. And then I found when I do that, when I meditate first, sometimes for an hour, sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, just depending, and then I pray, I get a more profound response. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like the purpose of fasting. Like, the reason why you fast from like certain things is so you can be refilled and become closer to God. You know what I mean? And, not exactly the same thing, but the feeling, that purpose of clearing your mind it would be that refilling or that closeness that you feel with God, you know what I mean? And I found that when I do that, it's harder to do during the day to just clear your mind, especially everything going on with work and this and that and this and that. But at nighttime I found that it's easier for me to do exactly what he just said and just quiet, you know what I mean? And just shut everything off, you know what I mean? Again, I'm not perfect at it, and again, sometimes it's harder than others. You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely, I'll be squirreling. I swear I did last night, and I think a lot of that too is because I didn't have the TV off last night when I was laying down. I usually turn the TV off when I'm going to sleep, but I didn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then drug court, man, it's crazy. You know. 2.5 years ago, it's like, bro, I'm gonna be in here forever. You know what I mean? And then like my mind would go like, how am I gonna manipulate my way out of it? You know what I mean? And then it was like, well, I can still just do what they want me to do, and then when I get done, I can just go, get high. Thank God that my mindset changed relatively fast. Like, it wasn't overnight or nothing like that, but I would say the first like 6 months being in the program is when my mindset started changing. You know what I mean? Honestly, I think it was when I started reciting the third step prayer, when my mindset started to shift from, and I started to see things happening in my life that clearly was not me. You know what I mean? Monday is that day. You know what I mean? And I would definitely say that it's bittersweet. You know what I mean? And like, this is how my mind works now. I'm great. I'm excited. You know what I mean? Because it's been the first time in like 32 years where I don't have like a thumb pressed over top of me. You know what I mean? But I can make clear, sane decisions. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to go and get high. I don't have to get drunk. I don't have to do stupid shit to catch charges to go to jail. I don't have to do this shit no more. You know? But the way my mind's been working lately, it's like, what can I do to stay in the program. You know what I mean? Like maybe I can just not go drug test. You know what I mean? And I just won't graduate. And it's like eventually I have to get to that point where I have to graduate. Like I don't want to be in the program for 6 years. You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, you're gonna be fine. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm not even worried about. It's not like it was back in January where I had this like, you know, I was terrified. Like, you know, I'm not there no more. Like I've prayed about it, and I feel like God answered my prayer about not allowing me to graduate in February. You know what I mean? And I think the reasoning was because He knew, you know what I mean, what would have happened if I would have graduated in February. You know what I mean? And you know, today it's not a fear of like. There's always a fear of relapse. Like even you know outside of drug court, you know, like it's a healthy fear to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to relapse. It's not something that I just want to go do. You know what I mean? But it's just
You hold on to that for dear life, man.
yeah. But it's just like I don't know. I've come to enjoy being in the program.
Yeah.
Like not the programs of recovery. Like I do enjoy that, but I just specifically mean in drug court. Like there are things that have occurred in my life because of drug court that I wish that I could like pass on to the ones that are just getting drug court. But I know like even me sharing these experiences with these people, like they're not going to experience in the way I did. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to like kind of like a spiritual awakening. Like I want to be like, you know, you'll feel this, but it's not going to feel like that to you. It's going to be completely different. Like your spiritual awakening is going to look different than yours, and it's just going to look different from mine. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm going to say the drug court saved my life. Yes, I did put the action behind it, but what I mean by that is like the structure that would implement it into me from that program specifically not only pushed me to take the effort, to make the effort to make the changes and to really just change everything about myself, but it was a structure that I needed. And then these people like seeing something in me that like the one judge that brought me into drug court has been my judge my entire life, and he still offered me another chance. You know what I'm saying? Like he still was like, okay, I know you can do it. You just got to do it. You know what I mean? And like things like that right there. Like you seen me the last time I seen him in court, he was like, you better not be back in my courtroom. You know what I mean? Not even 6 months later, I'm back in your courtroom.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like things like that. Like it's not that I still want to be in the program. I just want to carry the program. Does that make sense? Like, and you know, I used to don't take drug court. Don't do it. It's set up to make you fail. It's set up to do this. It's set up to do that. It's you're going to be miserable the whole time and blah blah. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. Like being on this side of it.
So it's obstacle versus opportunity.
Exactly. So, and the reason in 2011.
Just have it go circle, I get right back into it.
Yeah. So in 2011, after me, you know, forging NA meetings, in AA meetings on a meeting sheet, I got terminated after, I don't even think it was 6 months. I really don't. I think it was maybe
You'll be back.
Yeah.
And the Terminator, get it?
Yeah. So after I get terminated, like that's when all these, oh well, you know, it's their fault, not mine, like, you know. And today I realized like it's the accountability aspect. Like it's not the program. It wasn't their program then. It wasn't their fault then. It was mine. I wasn't ready to change. I didn't want to. You know what I mean? So being on this side of it, where I wanted to change, I wanted something different, and then I put the action towards changing who I was. The result was different. You know what I'm saying?
Excuse me.
It's, I want to say, bittersweet, more sweet than bitter, if anything. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that bitter part is just wanting to be able to, like a mentor. You know what I mean? Like almost like a peer support, but not necessarily a peer support. Like I just want to carry the message. I just want to be the message. You know what I mean? and it's like, even, and it still comes down to it, like we was talking on the porch earlier, like there's still a fact that some of the people that will graduate drug court, not all of them, but some of them, probably aren't going to stay sober. You know what I mean? That's their own opinion. That's their own choice. That's what they decide to do. You know what I mean? But I just want to carry that. I just want to carry like my experience, like, and like drug courts changed my life for the positive. You know what I'm saying? But like Monday is that day, bro. Monday is that day. I'm excited.
Super exciting. I'm very happy for you. That's super cool.
Thank you.
So somebody else got off probation, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm done. I've completed. Yeah. I finally got the okay from the parole officer that I'm good. He's like, you done? You're done. I was like, you have a piece of paper that tells me that I'm done? Now I gotta wait for that to come from Kansas. But
So you're not done yet?
I am done.
No, you got.
I do not have to report to nothing.
Excuse me, ma'am. Do you have proper documentation to
They don't
state?
give me rubber. I asked.
Do you have proper documentation to state that you are finished?
They have no paper to give me.
Not finished.
I am finished.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. I'm quite happy about it. I wish I had this documentation, but I'm gonna be like at least email my CPS lady so they know I finished another thing. CPS is one of those entities that
So
don't get involved. They're set up to fail, and I really.
Well, listen. Okay, we're gonna. Kentucky's got the worst.
I'm noticing.
Yeah, it's got the worst rate of people kids being removed from their families out of fault, none of to their own. Okay, it's terrible. I'm not going to get into it because it's a real big thing. There's a whole list of people that got fired from CPS because of what was going on.
It's called government overreach.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things that when I went into it this time, my family's like, we don't want to deal with CPS again. You already know, you don't want to do it. I said, yeah, but I know that had I done it right last time, I would have absolutely got them back. I mean, I was that close.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Still was getting high.
Yeah.
And in Colorado, same thing. You know what you need to do. You do everything else right. You have no business being here. We watch your parent. I was on, they supervise my visits, and they're like, you don't belong in here. You know what you need to do. Just stop getting high. Like, that's it. Like, you are not a bad parent. You're a very good parent. You just made the wrong decision. I said, right, so why are you taking my kids? I'm already a good parent. Like, I just look like I'm crazy, but like, my kids go to school, they're fed, they're dressed, they're clean, you know what I mean? I take care of them. I just get high when they go to bed so I can do the rest of the stuff, right? That's how it started. And, that was a hard one, but I knew, like, they have, it's family drug court type of thing in Colorado, and had I gone around that way, I probably would have been, what are you doing? I no comment on your inside out microphone cover there. Anyways, I totally lost my train of thought now. Crash.
CPS.
This time, I mean, it's feeling like that. It really, when they finally told me, wait, we're the steps and we're at the next step, that if they recommend it, now would be the allotted time that they would recommend trial home visits. Well, I know what those are, but here they just give them back. They're just like, here. It wouldn't have, if I didn't have a lawyer that motioned for overnights, it would have just gone from supervised visits for a couple hours and then straight to back home. And I was like, that sure seems like a setup for failure. Like Kansas and Colorado, you start off with an overnight one, like you do that for a week or 2 weeks, then they add to it, and then eventually they're back with you. And it's about a 2-month process to have them come back and live with you.
Yeah.
And then they live with you, and then you have your 3 months of aftercare or whatever.
Yeah.
And they already told me that they're not going to do it because of where I live. CPS won't recommend them to come back to me because I live with felons. And if I have a lawyer that pushes for it, but anyway, I don't have a lawyer right now. And my mom was yelling at CPS worker. I'm like, this is not the time. Don't you watch any of those YouTube videos I send you? So does Dustin. You know what I'm saying? He watches all the things and asks ChatGPT and has his ChatGPT lawyer that tells him how bad CPS is. They don't care. I mean, we can know all the things we know. Colorado still owes me $10,000 for money that they lost from Social Security that they never paid my mom when she had the kids, and I didn't get it back for 2 months. It went to CPS after I got them back. I didn't know no money, so it was a total of almost $10,000. Have I ever seen it? No. We can know all the things we want to know, but unless you have the right money and the right lawyers to really fight it, it just frustrates you. You know what I mean? It's not about what you know, right?
It's what you can prove.
Amen. Love that movie, by the way. Law Abiding Citizen. Great movie.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm in this limbo here with CPS that next week we find out. Well, no, 2 weeks. They might ask. They might not.
Yeah.
But my whole family's pushing it, And I'm like, it's not that that's what I came up here to do. But I also know that I have to just give it, and when God thinks I'm ready, He's ready. Because if I get pissed off and mad about things not going the way I want them to go, it's just frustrating. It doesn't help the situation. Being mad about it's not changing the situation. And I'm trying to explain that to my mom because she just don't get it.
So, I'm really not very well suited, I feel, to discuss this, I guess. To the ones that are at CPS's mercy, God be with you. Ones that are not or haven't experienced it, man, just do the next best thing, you know what I'm saying? Stay out of CPS, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about government overreach. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself, take care of your kids, all will be well. For those that have and are dealing with it and maybe don't have custody of their kids, take this as one of them opportunities and not an obstacle.
Yep.
To better work on yourself.
Yep.
Because if in fact you are struggling in that area, look, I've seen it. Our mind tells us that everything is going to be better when I get my kids back. Mm-hmm. But I don't have my kids, and I am struggling with myself. Mm-hmm. It's that addict and alcoholic mentality and mindset that's allowing me to believe that.
Yep.
Like, I cannot get my shit together.
Yep.
What makes me think having my kids in my possession are going to allow me to not struggle?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now I got kids
To take care of
too,
Yeah.
on top of trying to get myself straightened out.
Yep.
You got a real opportunity
Yep.
to really learn and work on yourself and identify all these things that's been keeping me sick
Yeah.
for all these years, so I can be
a better parent.
best equipped
Yeah.
to be the best form of myself and the best parent
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah. So just exactly what you just described is the reason that I have not started the custody battle. Like, I don't want to I'm not trying to take my kids from their mother. That's not what I'm saying. But just visitation. You know what I mean? But the reason I haven't done that yet is because until I don't want to be the richest person in the world. I just living paycheck to paycheck at the moment is not ideal for trying to take care of kids in the same aspect as well. You know what I mean? So I haven't started that process yet because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now they're good where they are, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But even if I did bring them to the house, I have a roommate, first of all. I only have my room, and I don't have a bed for them to sleep in. And even more so, they don't have a room for them to go to, you know what I mean? Or, of course they can, in my room they can chill, but I mean, ultimately, my kids are 14 and 13, and then they go all the way down to like 3. The point I'm getting at though is I've started to take care of myself. You know what I mean? And until I'm not, I don't want to say not struggling, because I feel like we're always going to struggle. You know what I mean? Like it's always going to be a struggle. But when I'm not struggling in the way that I am right now, that's when I can start the process. You know what I mean? Maybe they want to be in my life, maybe they don't. I don't know. I've already accepted the fact that there's a possibility that they don't want to be in my life. Not saying that that's the case, but that's a possibility, and I've accepted that. It's my own fault. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I don't love them. That doesn't mean I don't want them. It's just I have to accept the fact that I made the decisions that got me where I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And but actually, I thought about it. You know what I mean? I've said the exact same thing you just described. Like, I want my kids back, and I know everything would be better when my kids, are back in my life. And then I started realizing, like, I can't even take care of myself right now. Like, I mean, I can, but it's not the way that I would like to. You know what I mean? And it's like, and until I can really take care of myself, you know what I'm saying? And then I might figure out a way to get them, fully back, with me. It don't have to be 24/7, but at least to the point where, I can go pick them up if I want to, take them to the park or something like that, or anything like that. You know what I mean? But
Right.
until I'm right with myself, you know what I mean? I can't do that.
Right.
And I've accepted that too. Because I would be selfish, bro. Like, it would be selfish for me to drag them through the mud with me if they're already in a good spot.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It sounds not only difficult but sick to say.
Yeah.
But the more I'm grateful for the spot they're in,
Yeah.
and stop looking at it as.
And that's why I said that in the rooms the other day. Like, no, I don't like the fact that I don't have my kids. No, it doesn't make me feel good that they're not with me. No, it doesn't make me feel good that the past 7 years I haven't been in their life. It doesn't make me feel like, I don't feel good about that. But I'm grateful that I've been through this and I'm going through this now. You know what I mean? Because if I didn't, I don't think things would have turned out the way they're turning out right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that they're.
I mean, let's face it. The kids could always be in a way worse place than CPS.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of sick individuals out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they just they prey on stuff like that. You know what I mean?
My 2 younger kids are in foster care right now. You know what I mean? And I haven't heard anything from them since about a year after my youngest was born. Nothing. Nothing at all. You know what I mean? I've met the foster mother and the foster father. They're good people as far as I know, just from appearance. But again, how many people you meet on a day-to-day basis off of just a first appearance that seem okay and then are not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But not to speak on their character, nothing like that. Because like I said, I've only met them once, and it was just an appearance. It wasn't, So not to say anything about their character, but that sucks as well. You know what I mean? Knowing that you got 6 kids and only 4 of them are really around. 2 of them are just like 45 minutes down the street, but still, like, they're being that close and not being to have that contact with them, like not a phone call, not a visit, not I miss you, not anything like that. You know what I mean? It's hard, bro. Like the hardest thing I had to do in recovery, next to my grandmother passing away, is doing all this right here without my kids. It is, you know what I mean? But like I like to say this too, I turn my pain into passion, you know what I mean? No, I don't do this for them, but that pain that I feel every day from not having them, that feeling of like the same feeling I had when I was a kid, because that's what happened with me and my little brother, you know what I mean? That same feeling that I have is what I put on them. So I use that pain into doing something better with myself, you know what I'm saying? And possibly helping someone else that's probably going through exactly what I'm going through.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when I do that, like I've said this a thousand times, and I because it's the truth. Like I wasn't anyone to look forward to before. Before this past couple of years, I was not anything to be around. I didn't even want to be around myself. You know what I mean? So for them to want to look for me at that point, no, I wouldn't have blamed them if they didn't want to ever. You know what I mean? But where I'm at now is I do this for me in hopes of maybe one day I will be worth something for them to come find. You know what I'm saying? And as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, stay focused on the prize, you know what I mean? It's my sobriety.
And keep it moving.
And keep it moving. You know what I mean? As long as I stay focused on what's important. My sobriety, God, helping someone else, you know, those things, you know what I mean? Then I'm sure that I will reach that point in my life where they're like, hey, Dad, I miss you. You know what I mean? It's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful.
Absolutely.
I love it. I used to, you know, just topic on like people with their kids, you know what I mean? But I used to hate it. Oh, it used to drive me nuts. We'd be out in public, whether it be at Walmart or a restaurant or the park, you know what I mean? Just driving down the street, you know, and you see these families together, kids just having a good old time. Well, they used to run right through me. Why did they have their kids? I don't get mine. You know what I mean? I used to cuss them up and down. And and then like when I started to work on myself and I started to accept that I made these decisions, you know what I'm saying? That I realized that it's beautiful to see people with their kids because that gives me hope. Like maybe eventually, no, they're not going to be running around. A lot of the times they're little babies, you know what I'm saying? 4, 5, 6 years old. I'll never get that time back, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, my kids are 13 and 14 years old. So anyway, the point I'm getting at is maybe one day I will have my kids back in my life where, you know, we don't have to be playing like they are running around at the park or anything like that, but maybe we can sit and play video games or something. You know, maybe we can go out to eat every now and again, you know what I mean? Sit down, just have a conversation, you know what I mean? Just the hope that I get from seeing people that went through the situation that I have, that got their kids back, and then just, even if it's not even like a full time, like even just like visitations, like as long as, when I see those things, it's beautiful to me. Like, it is.
Or they're in sports to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like I played sports growing up. Like my mom never showed up to any of my games, but like maybe one. My dad was there spotty, like every now and again he would show up. But my grandparents were always there. Like my grandfather was. My grandma spotty as well. But my grandfather was there every practice, every game, every tournament. He was there. There was not one that he missed. You know what I'm saying? And like just that, like seeing what other people get to do with their kids, you know what I mean? Whether it be sports or just everyday activities or just putting them on the bus to go to school or picking them up from school. Like, I would love that. You know what I mean? But that gives me hope. Like, it could be possible for me. You know what I mean? They used to run through me though. Boy, they used to run through me. What you ever thinking about, buddy?
Speak on it. Don't take it home with you.
It looks like you got a burning desire.
You got a burning desire? Anything you speak on? No, honesty is the first principle of programming.
So it's been brought to my attention that my boys want to know how their dad died, and they want the truth, and they want the real story. And what you spoke of is what triggered it that day. Was he went to Chick-fil-A and saw all these families and all these kids.
Yeah.
And he said, I got 4 kids and I got none of them.
Yep.
Because he couldn't keep his britches on. Right. And I was involved in that. I mean, that's what he said. You know, I don't have any of my kids. He was a good dad. He just had some issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't hear from him. Then I drove home, and then left Chick-fil-A directly. I went home to his mom's. Called me, and that was it. Last time I heard from him. Even when I was in my addiction, I went to every game. My grandparents go to every game. They're at every practice, and they're at every game. I try to call them, my grandma doesn't. She hasn't let me watch when I call on video call or on service. I think it's because I told her of recent events, and I haven't talked to the boys since then. They're never home, or they're busy. I'll go get them, and she hasn't gotten them since I told my grandma everything that's happening. I haven't talked to the boys because they're not home. Or Roman's sitting there for a minute, and then, oh, I gotta go. Sorry, okay, bye. I don't know what that's about. I try to call them every day, if I can. And then they're not home, or they're busy, or it just threw me off when I called over their game, because I knew they had a game. That's why I called on video calls, so I could watch their first game. Even if I'm only on there for a minute, they know that I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Your mom called while you're on, and I've watched their games like that before. She would not put it on a video call. And I don't know why. And I had Nova and dance. I took all of everything they didn't have the extra money that I had before, but I made sure that I made enough money, and I paid for her dance classes. And when they're at my grandma's house. I couldn't have unsupervised, but they gave me the Mother's Day dance to go and have a dance with her at her dance thing the week before they left. To hear. I don't care. I will not stop fighting to get them. I will not. I've signed my rights to my grandparents. They have a set schedule. Life's pretty fine for them. But those are my babies. And regardless of wherever I'm living at, they always want to come home. I might not be able to give them all the things. They might have to go through and come with me. We got to go somewhere, but your situation. Your siblings are pissed off because you got to be with your mom. Your mom was not gonna let somebody take you. Man, it's a story. Oh, she had me crying the other day. There's no way. Nobody was gonna take him. So she moved. I did the same thing. You're not taking them. Not. I was living in my car with my daughter, and I was not gonna lose her. I already lost the other two. I wasn't doing it again. I've worked hard to be better. Everybody I talk to that always wants life to be perfect before they have kids, they don't end up having kids. If we're not going to be perfect, I'm not going to have everything. I don't know if you've had everything, but when you had everything, was everything great? Or do you like who you are now? Might not have everything the way I'd like it to be, but I love my kids. They're my kids. I gave them to me. The girls were up here. I knew they weren't. They were fine. They were fine with their dad. I knew he wasn't doing great. They'd go between him and the grandparents, just like with me, But I mostly had them with me all the time. I had them 24/7 when I had them. I went through treatment, and I told them, I'm coming. One way or the other, I'm not. I could have. They were fine here. I could have just stayed and got a really good job and stayed in Kansas and did my thing, and I just couldn't do that because I might not be perfect, but I'm their mom, and they're gonna know that. And little Miss Rosie, she never stopped looking for me out the door. His grandma said she looks out that window every day. And then finally I showed up, and she looked around the corner, and there I was looking at her right through that same door that she looked out every day. Mom, and ran to me. I know that maybe it's selfish of me to keep trying and to keep not just let it go. Life would be easier right now if I just said, I'll just let them stay where they're at. it would be a lot easier. It scares the shit out of me to be worried if am I going to do it right, but I just can't. I just won't do it. I just won't do it. And I know that there's lots of things that I could do instead, but it's such a touchy spot, especially for my boys, because they don't have a dad.
Yeah.
Their mom can't give up on them too.
Yeah. No, like, I don't think that it would be, I mean, life would be a lot easier if we just didn't give a shit, you know what I'm saying? For real. But I wasn't, when I was saying is
No, you care. I wasn't trying to bash on you. I just I hear a lot of people not give themselves enough credit. You know what I mean? When it's like, you're still their parent, they still want to see you, even if you're just at a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
don't cut yourself short, because the babies know you're the parent.
Yeah.
You're still their dad.
Right.
You know.
And, what I was getting at though was like, don't quit. You done came too far to do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't quit. The one, and that's really why I was saying, like, to clarify to the ones that are going through what I'm going through. I'm not saying that I'm not going to not do that. You know what I'm saying? I've been away for so long that when I'm working on myself, it would be selfish of me to drag them through. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just to clarify that, you know what I mean? Because I know there's probably people listening who are like, "Did he just say?" That's not at all what I meant. Like, what I was just simply saying, like, for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been away for so long already. Like, I need to work on myself now. Now that I'm working on myself, I will be better for them later. You know what I mean? And then, like, your situation, like, don't quit. We done came too far to quit.
Not even don't quit, but I hear a lot of anticipating and trying to figure out what is this and what is that and what is around the corner and what is the Jack in the Box going to do?
Yeah.
When he's going to pop out the box? Like, I wait for him to pop out the box. Don't anticipate, just participate, just like you've been doing.
Yeah. And then
we'll deal with the Jack when he jumps out the box.
Yeah. and just with the with the grandmother.
Worst day I ever lived was the one that never happened.
That's it. And with the grandparent thing, like, I would try and call and just have that conversation with her. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I don't know what's going on. I feel like since I've explained to you what's been happening, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. But I would like to.
I feel like things have changed for whatever reason. If you could give me some insight as to maybe your perception of the goings-ons and
what kind of,
or am I just being Bree and making more out of it than I tend to?
Exactly.
Or are these warranted feelings?
Yeah, like, are there motives behind this? Like, is it just me, or am I tripping? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the more I worry about something, and it might not even be what it is, you know what I mean? There could have been other things that played an effective.
And you might really just be going with your buddies, you know what I'm saying?
If I could just suggest the 4 P's, it could be greatly utilized right here. Pause, pray, process, and proceed. This is a conversation that even needs to be had.
Right.
Or would I be better suited doing what I'm doing, focusing on myself, working my program to become a better person? And all that's gonna work out in the end anyway.
Yeah.
I'm getting in. I'm meddling in the. I'm meddling. Get out the pot. Put the pen down.
Yeah.
That story ain't done being wrote. Quit picking up the pen.
Yeah.
Well,
when I had that conversation of all the things going on, I had made it very clear. It's like, I don't know if you guys we haven't talked about it much, but, like, you have to know the boys are never not in my plans. They are always planned for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was like, well, thank you for explaining it. Because obviously, they did take it exactly the way I thought they was going to, which is, I guess, they're just staying with us. I'm like, no, they're not just staying with you. Like, they're supposed to be part of all of this. I'm not just have another one and dropping them off. Like, that ain't what's happening.
So, like, it's crazy. Like, when you explain what's been going on, like, this is how the process played a part in my head, and it's probably played a part the same way in your head as well. it just didn't play that way in their head. But the way it came off to me was, come to Kentucky, get the girls, go back and get the boys. You know what I'm saying? And I mean,
That's how the original plan was.
Right.
But then as time has gone on, that's probably not what's going to happen.
Right. I mean,
if it's going to happen is, if they might have to come out here. I might not be able to move into the house right next to you. Not that it's really what I really want to do. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to have the children together. However, it would not be my first choice. Who wants to live right next to your grandparents? I sure don't want to, but they'll do it. You know what I mean?
I did growing up. My aunt had a house that lived right next.
At least I can do that with my grandparents. I ain't doing that with my mom. I love her, but more will be revealed at another time.
But
Property, yes, not through the window. Hi, waving through the window. I can't do that with my mom. No. I'll live on the other side of the 50 acres, though. We can do that. Okay. Our own space on the property.
This is gonna be.
And we don't want to. So, it is what it is.
But the point that I was getting at, though, is sometimes plans change. You know what I mean? Sometimes they take longer than what is expected. Sometimes there's a curveball that gets thrown in the mix, or a wrench that gets thrown at you. You know what I mean?
Honesty.
But the process is still as it is. They may have to come here. You know what I mean? You may be able to go there. You all might find another spot in a whole other state that's not even in any of these places.
Yeah, it's just making sure they knew that they aren't forgotten or they aren't being replaced.
And
that has always been my fear because of what happened to their dad. Yeah. Because mental health is a problem. And it's in the family, you know what I mean? That's the last thing I need them to do is to feel like they are not wanted by their mother, because that is what happened to their father.
Right. And I don't.
And so I will not
Yeah.
I just, the love needs to be known. It is there. Did you have anything on this topic?
I've contributed.
Okay. Is there anything else of the topic? I was going to read the anything, but... I raised the wrong thumb.
What?
I like butts.
This one is recovery doesn't happen overnight.
Beautiful. Read it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Alright, June 6th. Recovery doesn't happen overnight. Page 164. The 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous are a progressive recovery process established in our daily living. Basic text, page 99. After some time in recovery, we may find we are faced with what seems like overwhelming personal problems, angry feelings, and despair. When we realize what's going on, we may wail, "But I've been working so hard. I thought I was recovered, maybe, not hardly." Over and over we hear that recovery is never cured. Yet sometimes we believe that we just work our steps enough, pray enough, and go to enough meetings will eventually, maybe not be cured, but be something. And we are something. We're recovering from active addiction. No matter what we've dealt with through the process of the steps, there will always be more. What we didn't remember or didn't think was important in our first inventory will surely present itself later on. Again and again, we'll turn to the process of the steps to deal with what's bothering us. The more we use this process, the more we'll trust it, for we can see the results. We go from anger and resentment to forgiveness, from denial to honesty and acceptance, and from pain to serenity. Recovery doesn't happen overnight, and ours will never be complete, but each day brings new healing and the hope for more tomorrow. Just for today, I will do what I can for my recovery today and maintain hope in the ongoing process of recovery.
Yeah. So, I think last week, and I think before, I've shared that to me what recovery is. I would like to add to what recovery is to me. So I told you all that recovery was the work that you put in to change yourself. I left out, I think, the biggest part of what recovery is, the healing process that comes with changing who you are, like the inner side of you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and say that I was broken, because that's a past tense situation, because I'm still pretty broken. You know what I mean? Getting better though. I think that's probably the biggest part of recovery is like the healing process that you go through, especially with like yourself inside, you know what I mean? And then outwards towards like it maybe relationships that you had, not necessarily intimate relationships, but friendships, family members, you know what I'm saying? People that were really close to you, you know, and then maybe even an intimate relationship, you know, who knows? But I think that's a big part, the biggest part next to, you know, finding and getting close to God, you know what I mean, is the healing process that we go through, along with the work that we put in to change who we are, and the people, the places, the things, you know, find new things about yourself, like, you know, all that. I think that's recovery. That is what recovery is to me.
So what came to mind when I heard her read it was, you know, hear the instances, or maybe personally have the occasion where you got some people approach you, oh, you think you're better than us now? Yeah, no. I think I'm better than me. I think I'm better than I ever been.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? And for that, I'm grateful.
Yep.
To not think I'm better than anybody,
At all.
but just know I'm better than me. Because it's the goal. Just to be a little bit better than I was yesterday.
Yep.
As long as I can do that, that is progress.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the first meetings that I heard, it was a speaker meeting that I remember the guy said, if I'm just that much better than myself than I was the day before, then I'm making progress, whether it be spiritually or just in my program or whatever. As long as I just do that much better than I was the day before, then I'm doing better than yesterday.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that stuck out to me, bro, because like before my life, bro, like I just felt like I was better than everyone else. You know what I mean? I really wasn't, but that's how I felt. You know what I mean? And today, like I'm no different than anybody else, whether it be in the program, outside the program, or just in the world in general. I'm not no better than anyone else. We all put our pants on the same way. We all take them off the same way. But what I am better than is who I was yesterday. You know what I mean? And as long as I stay in that mindset of like I got to be better than who I was yesterday, and I'm not really worried about.
I better put my shirt on different.
I mean, I probably take mine off different, but that's fine. You know. But the point is, we all wear one. Okay, we all wear one. You know.
Even when I take mine off, I still have one on. See? Oh, you do.
Oh man.
It's pretty bright. Tis.
Yeah.
So right now you see.
I know it. Yeah. Sheesh. Anyhow.
Yeah, buddy.
You guys like to do grapefruits?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Grapefruits. All right.
I think we're good with gratefuls. I think there was a very good discussion today.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm for sure. I'm sorry if I got a little.
No,
I don't mean to come. I catch myself as of recently that I'll get a certain way, and it's not. I'm not trying to come off that way, but I sure sound like I'm a certain way.
No, listen.
You absolutely did.
I feel like. Listen, I feel like whenever we feel like that and we start to get things off, you know what I'm saying, that's clearly bothering us. You know what I mean? The whole mood switch. So you clearly needed to get it off your chest.
Yeah.
You know. But I feel like when we do that and we're able to release what's been bothering us, the way we come off is how we're supposed to come off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Like, say something's bothering me, and so when I get, what's the word? I don't want to say emotional, but when I get
Pent up.
No, not necessarily pent up. I had the word and I can't think of it right now. Anyway, when I get
That one.
yeah, dang it. Anyway,
Conflicted?
not conflicted.
Afflicted.
No, not afflicted. Dang it, man.
So like that passionate.
Passionate. That's the word.
Right,
When I
yeah.
get passionate about something, you know what I'm saying, or you know, I a lot of times I start to cuss. You know what I mean, and not that I'm not trying to come off like I'm cussing at you or but that's just how I express myself. So if I got something that's bothering me and I start to, maybe I'll raise my voice, you know what I mean, or maybe I'll start to cry, whatever, or use my hands because I talk with my hands a lot too. When I get more passionate about something, you know, it means a lot to me, apparently, you know, and it's good for me to get that release, to get that out, you know what I mean, instead of carrying around. And the reason I brought that up as well, also, okay, is because I have to attempt to speak, okay, Monday, without cussing, because it's a court proceeding, you know what I mean, that is, I've been praying about that, you know what I mean, please
You'll do good.
take that serpent tongue. Yeah, because it's, you know, and that's another thing too. It's been constantly. I think that's another thing that's been like amongst all the. And now I got to figure out what to say. And,
Relieve me of the serpent tongue. Replace them with your words, wisdom, and ways.
Yeah. Allow me to help someone. You know, maybe struggling the way I was when I first got in the program. You know. I prayed. I've been praying exactly what the prayer that we just prayed just then was the exact prayer that I've been praying for about a month. You know what I mean? And every night I go through and there's different things that I would like to say. You know what I mean? And then I try to put it in a collective because I don't want to write it down. I don't want to write it down. I feel like when I write it down and then I speak about it, I feel like it takes away the authenticity of what I'm saying. May not be true all of the time, you know what I mean? But that, I don't know why my brain is like that, but it's kind of like the way when I give my lead, I'm not going to go in with a bunch of notes that I wrote down, topics that I got to hit, parts of my life that I got to hit. I don't want to do that. I feel like what will be said is what God wanted me to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So as long as I just stick to that right there, I think I'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish I could be there. I can't take work off, or I would absolutely be there.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
Are we on to gratefuls?
Oh, yeah, gratefuls.
Or were you something? Me? Okay. Okay. I'm very grateful to be here today. I'm grateful to be able to get this stuff off my chest, or things that I'm thinking when they happen. I can enjoy my day so much better when I let it out sometimes. Grateful for my new job. And I'm grateful for all my kiddos. I wish I could be there. I wish I could see my boys really bad. I miss them a lot. But I'm just gonna keep doing what I gotta do. And I'm happy with whatever time I get, even if it's just on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to see where God's taking me today in life, and excited for all the things. And life is so much better today than any time in the madness, and even before, because I didn't know who I was, and now I have a confidence in who I am today that wasn't there even before the drugs and alcohol. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm grateful for the desperation of a drowning man.
Yep.
I too am grateful for my children. I'm grateful for the tribulations that I have gone through to get to where I am today. I'm grateful to say that my name is Anthony and I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for the podcast, for the people that that are supportive, that watch it. Maybe people, the ones that just happen to, pop up on their news feed, you know what I mean? And they just happen to watch it a couple of times, maybe just the one time. I'm grateful for them. Maybe it reaches that one person that needs it. I'm grateful that I get to call you all my family, maybe even if it's just a text message, once a week, or just when we get to sit down and see each other on the weekends. Like, I'm grateful to be a part of you all's lives, and for you all to be a part of my life as well. And I'm grateful for my sobriety too.
Thank you. I'm grateful for a God of my understanding, not your understanding, my understanding.
Yeah.
Not that I will ever understand him.
Right.
I mean, there's no sense in even trying to understand him.
Absolutely.
Just seeking the guidance. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for that psychic change today. Grateful to know that I don't have to be in control today, and grateful to know that things are better when I'm not in control today. Grateful for my new job as well, even though it did hinder the process. But I'm grateful to be able to trust the process. There is a process, and today's result is not the end result. And I'm grateful. I don't do it perfectly. I don't even do it all that well. But I'm grateful to be able to let it go. You know what I mean? Give it to God, and be willing to do the next best thing. And I'm grateful to know that who I am today is not who I'll be, but I'm grateful for who I am today.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely.
The all-inclusive Lord's Prayer we'll close with. Kind of covers all the ground. Yeah. You guys keep coming back. Remember, Jesus sees us.
And loves you.
Who put all the hairs on the bears?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Keep coming back.